Hey everyone, Daniel here and welcome back to another video. I hope all of you are having an absolutely phenomenal day out there as always. Here today, I want to talk to you about the VGX token, but more specifically, the Voyager loyalty program and some new updates and timing pertaining to it. After that, we're going to focus on an interview that CEO Steve Ehrlich went on just this morning, talking all about Voyager Digital, the VGX token, platform growth, new product innovation, and all things pertaining to Voyager. So if you end up finding any value in this video whatsoever, please consider subscribing and let's get into it. So first and foremost, we have to talk about the VGX token. And the token, I own the token. I bought it last weekend at a pretty good price, under $2. I'm a holder of their stock. I own both, right? And I think the VGX token plays a big part of the Voyager ecosystem and will play a big part in it moving forwards, just like Steve has said in the past and has reiterated yesterday during the earnings call. So when we talk about VGX, its success is very important for the continued growth of Voyager moving forwards. And what we've seen since roughly February 22nd is the price of VGX downtrend. Now, why is this? The continued delay of the Voyager loyalty program. And we talk all about this delay, but I really want to go in depth into exactly why these delays are happening, potentially when we could see the loyalty program end up going live. So the first thing we need to understand is, what's going to allow the Voyager loyalty program to go live? And it's a few main things. First and foremost, we need to complete what's known as the Voyager Token Swap with the LGO token. So, this is already kind of planned, right? We already have essentially what's going to happen here, and I kind of just want to share with you what this is. We have the LGO token, which is trading for around 25, 30 cents, I want to say around there. And what we're going to have is around 6.5 LGO tokens become the new VGX token, and each current VGX token is going to become the new VGX token. So we're going to have this new batch of VGX tokens, right around 255 million new VGX tokens out there. And once this token swap or this token merger, whatever you want to call it, is complete, these new VGX tokens will be used as the backbone of the Voyager loyalty program, and this is when the use case of the token really comes to fruition. So, we talk about this kind of swap, right? And we know that it's already pretty much decided. We already have the different ratios here, and we understand exactly what's going to happen. Now, the question is, why does it keep getting delayed? And it's actually a pretty similar answer, or a pretty simple answer, rather. When we talk about this token swap, the thing is, Voyager has to work with all exchanges in the cryptocurrency industry to make it happen. And this can get very difficult because when we talk about the stock market, there aren't that many exchanges out there. You have the OTC exchange, the NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange, potentially some international exchanges, but other than that, there aren't that many. In crypto, there are many more. Voyager alone works with over 10 exchanges to find the best kind of price to execute whenever you buy or sell a cryptocurrency on it. So them alone, they work with over 10 exchanges. So what Voyager has to do is individually work with each exchange to essentially coordinate exactly what's going to happen with the swap to make it work. Now, the thing about this swap and the thing about these exchanges is that certain exchanges are run by companies that are in direct competition with Voyager. And this is the case with one major competitor. Who is that? It's Binance. Now, Binance is one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world, and I'm just going to preface this. I use them for my, I bought VGX through them. I don't think they're a scam, to be completely honest, but, they are in competition with Voyager. They're a cryptocurrency exchange. Sure, Voyager is a cryptocurrency brokerage, but they both offer the service of being able to buy or sell different cryptocurrencies. And the thing is, for this swap to go through, Voyager has to coordinate with all the different exchanges, right? And Binance is one of them. And what we had just a couple days ago is this exchange of tweets on Twitter that Steve actually responded to. And what we had is these two individuals saying that, there's a big chance that Binance could very well be holding down this token swap and be delaying it even further to a point where, maybe it's going to take a little longer for VGX to get rolled out. And that obviously hurts Voyager Voyager, as in the company, as in the token, and actually ends up benefiting Binance. So what these two individuals are saying is that Binance is holding up the VGX token swap for their own benefit. And what Steve ends up responding with here is actually pretty interesting, because the second tweet actually mentions the possibility of Voyager creating their own chain, their own blockchain for VGX, something similar to what the Binance coin has done. And Steve responded that he loves that idea. So that's a completely other topic that we can make an entire video about, potentially VGX becoming their own blockchain. But just him responding to these tweets potentially kind of solidifies this thought that Binance could be one of the major exchanges that is holding up this token swap, because for it to go through, we need Binance on board, and we need all of the tokens on the Binance exchange to get swapped when the swap goes live, and that might be one of the things causing this delay. So, the thing is, once we get coordinated with all these exchanges, once Voyager kind of figures it out with all these exchanges, we'll get a situation where they can coordinate the swap. Now, once the swap happens, CEO Steve Ehrlich said that it's going to take around 30 to 45 days. They're going to give some people, or all token holders, some time to actually initiate and participate in the token swap. Once that's done, the swap is completed, the Voyager loyalty program gets released, and we can expect it within that time frame, around a month and a half after the Voyager token swap. So, assuming that potentially the token swap takes place potentially at the end of June, we can expect the Voyager loyalty program to go live in mid-August. If it goes live within mid-June, you can expect it at the end of July. Something along those lines, and that's something kind of, when I'm thinking about timeline-wise, I do believe that the summer is when we'll see this Voyager loyalty program go live, and that's when this kind of the use case for VGX really gets released, and it's when people can really start taking advantage of different rewards within Voyager, and I think that's a very big thing and a very big catalyst for VGX. Now that we understand exactly what the situation is with VGX, what's holding it up, and the potential timeline for it, let's move on to an interview that CEO Steve Ehrlich did this morning. I believe it was with Ben Zinga. I hope I pronounced that correctly, but they talked about a lot of things like the VGX token, a stock uplisting, and volatility, so let's get into it. First and foremost, they talked about the VGX token, talking about exactly what it is and whatnot, and Steve commented on the swap, and he said it's being worked on, with all the big exchanges, just like we talked about, and he said the words very near future, so, he normally says near future, so the fact that he said very near future potentially means something, he never really gives time frames, and he said this, quote, no set time frames, but not too far away. He doesn't really give timelines on anything. But just like what we talked about here before, they're working with these exchanges. Once those everyone's on board with this whole situation, we'll get a situation where, all right, everyone's on board, we can facilitate this swap, loyalty program goes live a month and a half after, and we're good to go. Now, Steve actually mentioned that this is more of an ecosystem coin, and that it's very similar to the Binance coin, and that it's extremely important to everything we're putting together. That's his words right there. And, it really emphasizes that Voyager is working hard to get this done. Quote, extremely important to everything we're putting together. So, this is an important thing for Voyager. So if you have money in VGX, you can rest assured knowing that Voyager is working as hard as they can to get this done. All of the things are already predetermined. The only thing we're waiting for now is coordination with all of the different exchanges. They also mentioned how this builds brand and customer loyalty and also gives you rewards, and is their idea of hotel and airline rewards, but built on the blockchain rather than through fiat systems. So that's about the VGX. Next, they talked about the NASDAQ uplisting for the actual stock, and Steve said this takes a lot of work and that it will take a lot of work to get done. But they said they're working very hard, and they're working with one of the top 4 accounting firms out there to get it done. But step 1 is to get listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange. From there, the NASDAQ application can take place. He's given a timeline of late 2021, early 2022 2022 before. If that still remains valid, who knows? But, judging by what he said, I do believe that this could be something we could potentially experience at the end of 2021. And obviously that extends the amount of individuals who can purchase Voyager in a massive, massive way to financial institutions and larger high net worth individuals who potentially only buy stocks on the NASDAQ rather than the OTC and the Canadian Securities Exchange. Now, in terms of volatility, he really re-emphasized this. They talked about this in the conference call yesterday, but these are their best days. They make the most money when Bitcoin is most volatile. Zero loan defaults so far from their entire history of being a company, and they're monitoring this on a daily basis when it comes to the loans they've given out for the high interest rates that you get for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano. All the tokens, or a majority of the tokens that you hold, you actually get interest on Voyager, and they're monitoring all of these loans on a daily basis, and zero of them have defaulted despite the massive volatility we've seen. Again, that adds a lot of reassurance to customers and investors who may be worried of a potential default if cryptocurrencies fall significantly. We saw that. No defaults. Absolutely phenomenal. On the topic of product roadmaps, obviously we know this is very important for both the VGX token and Voyager Digital shareholders. They said their number one priority right now is continuing to scale their infrastructure. Very, very important. They're prioritizing building out their current systems before releasing any product. Very important, as it also shows that they're working their best to keep customer satisfaction high. Once they do that, they'll be able to expand into different areas and different sectors within the cryptocurrency market, but priority number one is currently scaling their infrastructure, and I value that heavily as a VGX token holder and a Voyager Digital stock holder alongside that. Now next, again, they reiterated total funded accounts currently at 550,000 and total current users at 1.6 million. Very, very bullish for both Voyager Digital stock and the VGX token. And when we talked about the debit card, this is the first time he actually went in depth into this, and he said that the mock-ups for the debit card are ready, and he said, quote, "It's pretty cool," and that it will be shared soon. So, we can expect something when it comes to the debit card pretty soon, but again, it's going to come after the scaling is done, and once Voyager finishes their system upgrade that will allow them to accommodate up to 10 million verified users at one moment in time. They're working with a payment provider UCO and a Metropolitan Commercial Bank to get this debit card up and running. Now, when we're talking about, waiting for new products, it's really just waiting for scaling to finish before bringing in new products, and, also about international expansion and getting into stocks. Same thing goes for that. Before we get into international expansion and before we get into stocks, we need to have a system upgrade that can accommodate more users and allows for higher customer satisfaction and less potential issues on the part of the customer and Voyager. Talking about the desktop app, the full version will come out within the next 6 months. First time we got a timeline on that, but again, they're waiting to scale before they release that. They said they got a lot of positive feedback from the desktop app during their beta session, and they're looking forward to announcing it soon. And at the very end of the interview, they asked him this one question: "Do you ever get tired?" And Steve responded with, quote, "No, I have Red Bull and coffee." Shortly after responding with that, he said, "If you're not working, there's someone else who is." And I think this is one of the most reassuring statements I have heard from Steve Ehrlich or any other CEO of any public company, as it shows the work ethic that he has as a person and as a CEO, that, if they're not working 24/7 on improving their systems, on scaling, on new product launches, there is someone out there who is doing that at this moment in time. And to stay ahead of the pack, they need to continue upgrading and continue optimizing their platform and making it better on a daily basis to keep their lead ahead of all the other guys. Hearing this was absolutely phenomenal, and he ended it off with this: "There's time for sleeping when I'm 70. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you being here. If you found any value in it whatsoever, please consider subscribing. I hope you're all having a phenomenal day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.